Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this World Council of Credit Unions and Regional Credit Union Center webinar, How Eastern and Central European Credit Unions Have Been Financial First Responders Throughout the COVID-19 Pandemic. My name is Greg Newman, Director of Communications for World Council, and today we're going to see presentations from professionals with national credit union associations and individual credit unions across the region. Matić will be giving a presentation today. She is the Secretary of the Croatian Association of Credit Unions, along with Cosmin Ficleanu, a member of the Board of Directors for Proconcordia Credit Union in Romania. And finally, Rafal Sokolowski, who is an advisor to the Management Board at Casa Centrum Credit Union in Poland. If you have any questions for our speakers today, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen and type them in there. If you go to the bottom bar, you'll see a Q&A button. You can type in any questions there. I'll be asking your questions for each speaker at the end of their presentations as time allows. Also, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available later today on the World Council YouTube channel. That's at youtube.com/woku. And we're going to jump right into our first presentation of the day with Matić. She is the Secretary of the Croatian Credit Union Association. That is World Council's direct member organization in Croatia, which represents about 20 credit unions with over 44,000 members. Anna, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matić, and I'm the Secretary of Hrvatska udruga kreditnih unija. On behalf of Hrvatska udruga kreditnih unija and my personal behalf, I would like to thank World Council of Credit Unions and Regional Credit Union Center for giving us the opportunity to present challenges and our responses throughout 2020. I believe everybody will agree with me when I say that it's been a whirlwind year for all of us. Also, this is an opportunity to present Hrvatska udruga kreditnih unija, as this is the first time HUKU is participating in a WOKU webinar. So allow me to say a few words about credit unions in Croatia and Hrvatska udruga kreditnih unija. HUKU is a non-profit association established in 2011. The association was founded to promote, develop, and advance the work of credit unions and to realize its objectives by cooperating with competent state bodies and institutions. It works on voluntary basis, so HUKU doesn't have employees, and it is funded only by membership fees. HUKU has only 10 members, credit unions. There are 18 credit unions currently in Croatia, and there are 20 banks. Next slide, please. Credit unions in Croatia are financial institutions. They are regulated and established under Credit Unions Act and supervised under supervision of Croatian National Bank. So we are a small business limited to only members. It is like everywhere else in the world, but in Croatia, this means only natural persons, craftsmen, and sole proprietors who live in the same area. This means county in Croatia. So currently, credit unions cover only 11 counties out of 21, and they cover a population of 3 million people. But in Croatia, credit unions gather only 45,000 members. We are very restricted in products we offer. Our deposits are not insured. We are not in payment system. We can advertise only to our members. So as you can see, we are very restricted in every possible way. Currently, there is a working group composed of representatives of Croatian National Bank, Ministry of Finance, that are preparing a draft of Credit Unions Act, and we are hoping that they will reduce a regulatory burden. So during COVID-19 crisis, Croatian National Bank and Croatian government have taken a set of measures aimed at mitigating the economic consequences. If we are talking about Croatian National Bank, these measures were monetary policy measures to maintain favorable financing conditions for households and entrepreneurs, payment operations and transaction with bank clients. But for credit institutions and credit unions as financial institutions, The most important measures are supervisory measures because CNB adjusted its approach to supervision. They allowed credit or financial institution to postpone payment obligations, or in another way, restructure credit liabilities and grant new loans for the existing and the new exposures towards its regular clients who were classified as A clients of December 31st, 2019, whose operations has already been affected or will be affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. They aim to avoid further deterioration of the client's financial condition. So credit unions and credit institutions were unable to take a decision not to initiate forced collection measures, foreclosures, instruments of collateral, for the collection of debt from their debtors who in a period of 3 months from April 2020 failed to settle 3 installments of their credit liabilities. These measures last only till tomorrow, 31st March 2021. If we are talking about Croatian government, they adopted 63 measures to prop up the economy during the pandemic with the aim to preserve jobs and enabling payment of wages. But the biggest impact on credit institutions and credit unions had this adopted act on intervention measures in enforcement and insolvency proceedings for duration of special circumstances. This act suspended all the enforcement proceedings, and also default interest did not run from April 2020 until October 2020. Although an unprecedented and challenging year, credit unions try to help their members and communities they serve. So according to Croatian National Bank's measures, credit unions have, or better to say, had the possibility to postpone payment obligations or restructure credit liabilities at no cost. They had the possibility not to initiate forced collection measures. Also, credit unions offered, but they still do, financial counseling, assistance, and this is not only limited to members. So when we are talking about assistance, we recently had disastrous earthquakes that struck Zagreb and mostly Sisak-Moslavina County. So we needed an immediate response, and the assistance was consisted of providing informations and advices in the aftermath of the earthquake. For example, who to call to get inspections of buildings, assessment of post-earthquake damage, earthquake recovery plans, etc. So also credit unions connected and engaged with members on their preferred digital platforms. For example, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever is more convenient for members. Also, credit union staff provided personal contacts to be available 24/7 to their members immediately after the earthquake. Also, credit unions connected their members. For example, some of our members have or run family-run farms, so encouraged our members to buy from other members, to buy food from local farmers, for example. Also, there were some members, directors of construction companies that offered their services to other members in need. So we kind of tried to connect them. What you see are the photos that caught just a glimpse of horror after the earthquake in Zagreb. As a time with the coronaviruses, it was like horrible and difficult, but the burden after those 2 disastrous and even more disastrous earthquakes brought double trouble, let's say. This is a photo showing a horror in Sisak-Moslavina County just after the earthquake in December. The earthquake in March in Zagreb was the strongest to hit Zagreb since 1880, damaging over 26,000 buildings. 1,900 were declared unusable, and this caused over 11.5 billion in damage. And the most recent earthquakes in December in central Croatia practically destroyed the town of Petrinja, seriously affected towns of Glina, Sisak, Hrvatska Kostajnica, other villages. The tremors caused 8 fatalities and left 36 people injured. Over 45,000 buildings were damaged and more than 70,000 people were directly affected. Several credit unions offices were also seriously damaged during the earthquakes. For example, what you see are the offices of ABC Kreditna Unija from Sisak-Moslavina County. Although they were badly damaged, they continued to work and serve its members. And what is a fun fact, actually, they were the only financial institution that didn't close its doors, as all other credit unions closed its branches and vacated earthquake damaged buildings. So in Sisak-Moslavina County, ABC Kreditna Unija was the only provider of loans and deposits. As I mentioned before, HUKU is funded only by membership fees, so we are limited in our resources, but members decided to help as much as possible. So Hrvatska udruga kreditnih unija donated household appliances to families moved into contemporary housing containers in Sisak-Moslavina County. Also, we donated protective equipment to Children's Hospital in Zagreb. The hospital was badly damaged by earthquake in Zagreb and also was flooded last year. There were great examples of human solidarity in ordinary citizens. For example, member of supervisory board of Kreditna Unija Libertina in Međimurje County, Mr. Vladimir Holetić, who is a director of Intermegrad company, donated house building materials, and also credit union members volunteered, donated food, money, supplies, offered accommodation throughout the country, offered assistance in every possible way. For example, hairdressers were cutting hair for free and stuff like this. I must say that during this unprecedented times, credit unions have stepped out to help all those small in size and numbers. We did put members and their needs first. I hope just that this will also pass so soon and we can go back to our ordinary way of doing business, face to face with our members and building better future together and not just recovery plans. So I would like to thank you for your attention. Please stay safe. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And if you would like to write, there is an email at the bottom of the page. Thank you very much for your attention.
Anna, thank you so much. And if anyone has a question for Anna, please feel free to ask it in the Q&A section on the bottom of your screen. But I'm just curious, Anna, you know, this earthquake happened just as COVID-19 and the pandemic was starting. Had this happened 6 months later or even 2 months later, would it have been easier? Because I have to imagine no one was paying attention to Croatia and the earthquake because the pandemic had just started. So was outside help, was foreign help limited?
Well, I have to say that human solidarity does not know boundaries. So we got help from many countries, Poland, North Macedonia, other countries just called us, asked if you need something. When you ask about earthquakes during pandemic, it was, well, anecdotal, just to say, because people were running out, but they were like carrying masks on their faces and they were like trying to speak to other people, but then at the same time, they were trying to maintain their social distance. So it was rough. We were scared that credit unions will have some troubles, especially in deposits. that we won't be able to maybe maintain our liquidity or something like that. But fortunately, we have strong connections with our members. And I think that this is credit unions are all about their members and trying to go through this kind of crisis together.
Are any of your credit unions still in any kind of temporary locations, or are they all back into their normal locations now?
Well, they are, but I have to say that we lost one credit union. They went to liquidation because they lost their offices and they didn't want to just resume business. So we lost one member during the COVID crisis.
Well, I think anybody on this call can probably say they can't imagine having to go through a natural disaster on top of COVID-19. And again, if anybody has questions for Anna, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. We may have time at the end of today's presentations and we can ask them then as well. Anna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to head next to Cosmin Ficleanu. He is a member of the board of directors for Proconcordia Credit Union in Romania, a credit union serving over 2,000 members in Eastern Romania. It is also a member of the Federation of Romanian Credit Unions, World Council's direct member organization in Romania. Cosmin, you have the floor.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for organizers for making this happen, because during the last year or so, we just missed the human interaction, and the technology is just helping us being close to each other to discuss, to keep track of everything that is going on in this area, in this part of the world, and everything that's going on. I will just start my presentation now. I think you can see it. So my name is Cosmin Ficleanu. I'm now speaking from on behalf of FedCar Romania. It's a federation for credit unions here, and I am replacing Florin Simion, which is has some personal issues, and he sends you his sincere apologies for not being part of this webinar. So in my presentation, I will cover some aspects from Proconcordia, my credit union, and of course from some other credit unions that they are associated with FedCar. I mean, where we are now, we have more than a year has passed since this pandemic have struck all of us, and we are talking in the global context of the medical situation we are facing. We need to talk about economic impact and also the social approach, because from us as credit unions system, we also take into consideration keeping close to our members, helping them with everything that is going on. In the future minutes, I will present some example for my colleagues from another credit unions. They thought about and they implement during this last year. One of the credit unions, they start discussing with the medical authorities, and eventually they sponsor the city hospital with 2 EKG devices to help the hospital provide better medical services to their patients. Another thing they thought about, and they had a hyperbaric chamber, which is a machine like they are using the scuba divers when returning from the depths of the sea to the surface. They need to decompress in order to proper breathe, and this is something that also a patient recovering from COVID is needed to have. In case of our credit union that does this, They will provide free treatments for their members in their hyperbaric chamber, or also to allow the use of their hyperbaric chamber for patients that are sent from the hospital for a small fee that was also covered by the authorities. All this action were very good for the community. They proved the commitment for the credit union towards helping the people in their region, in their city, and also these guys have another approach to sponsor, to award the best student in every school, in every high school in their city. They initiate discussion with every institution, and they ask for what is the best student for this institution, and they would award like 1,500 euros for each student. In total, they will provide for social activities amounts ranging from hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands of euros. For this, proving also that they will recognize and they will appreciate the students that in the second semester of the last year they were studying online, and these guys were awarding this kind of studying. Another direction for a credit union to help the community is being sponsor in the Blues in the Garden festival. I do not know how you are doing this in your countries, but here in Romania we have some small period of time when the COVID infection went down, and we were allowed to organize some concerts, some media activities in open airs, of course with having in mind the personal distancing and all the medical requirements to be safe during this time. And for this one we also help the community helping gathering people together so that they will be less social distanced, and to start working and seeing each other. Another example from another credit unions, of course, with donation for various foundation, and by the means of the city halls, they want to help people with financial difficulties, to help people that are struggling from day to day. In the March and April 2020, we had in Romania the lockdown period for 1 month, that was also extended with 2 months serious restriction with regards to people traveling and people leaving their houses. So that our colleagues from Credit EU, they thought about going to those members in difficulties and helping them with all kinds of donation. Some other criteria, some other areas that they were considering is to try to sponsor the sports association and the sports activities during this time. One of them is running a cycling association. They were providing sponsorship for several people to go and participate in these activities, and also some ultra marathon, that in the end all the money that were gathering for these activities would go to the children in needs and help them with the holidays. Most of these activities were organized between around Christmas last year, and they were meant to give some some relief to the members that were already affected by coronavirus. Some more examples consist also in money or medical supplies donation either to the hospitals or for the credit union members. Even though the facial masks and the hand sanitizers, it is not a big price to pay, they were thinking about the elder members that were they were staying in their houses due to the lockdown, and they were thinking to help that as much as they can. In these times, in the early days of coronavirus lockdown, we also have Romania regulation about some payment facilities for the members. We had a law that requires also credit unions to be able to postpone for a period from 1 to 9 months the payments, and the payment should start in January 2021. So even for this part, we need to comply with the regulation and also provide the members with all the help that we can do in order to keep them as safe as possible, and also to be able to cross this harsh time with the credit union, so that we can provide for the future, also for the future period, to provide the members with proper financial services and to be able to continue the activities. In Romania, credit unions are providing financial services and financial inclusion for members for small and remote communities from the rural areas. For this kind of credit unions branches, there were organized some meetings in open air, with all the medical measures in place, so that our members can also meet under this condition, and to discuss with each other, to have a cup of coffee, and think about how to better cross this period of time. We're talking about adaptation. We're talking about how humankind adapts to this kind of situation. This level of pandemics is, as I heard to other people, it is unseen, and probably none of us who are living these days are going to meet such a crisis ever again in their lifetime. I'm just using the Japanese symbol for the crisis. It contains in two icons. The first one is translated with danger, and the second one is translated by opportunity. I mean, in every crisis there are some seeds of opportunities. It's up to us, the humans, to be able to tell them apart, to know which one to focus on, so that we are fit for going further with our lives. On one hand, we can say that the crisis is very bad, which in fact it is. We see people around us that are suffering from this disease. We even see casualties, but we can also choose to see the light, the silver cloud on this, and to see the opportunities. For this period of times, from the professional standing point, the work from home strategies that we implemented are such an opportunity. We need to take into consideration that many of the credit unions members, they have difficulties, they have challenges when using the technologies, but still we as a credit union members, we are in contact every day with the members and try to help them also in using technologies. I mean, in the beginning of crisis, speaking about March or April last year, we made hundreds or even thousands of telephone calls to the members, offering them help or even asking about how they are, if they are healthy, if they are safe. And we heard of a lot of stories about people having difficulties in their lives. From the financial part of our contractual relation, we were able to provide them with 2 or 3 monthly payments to be postponed until the lockdown is over, and we were able to do this without charging them extra for the period, and also to know if there are social cases that needed help. We had like volunteer teams that were going to the members, to their homes, to help them with shoppings, to help them with medical supplies and food and everything they needed. This goes especially for the remote areas where even in normal condition the providing of the means for life were difficult. Of course, we are talking about digitalization. We had a lot of discussion with our members, helping them get in contact with credit union branches via electronic communication, either by email or by WhatsApp, Facebook messaging, video calls, so that we can provide financial services at the distance without the need for the member to come and to visit our office. Of course, that all of our offices were equipped with medical equipment, with thermometers, with sanitizers, so that every people that gets in our office would be safe and will continue the working as before. I'm sure that any one of you have heard at least once the discussion with friends or families. I can't wait to go back to the life as it was before. To be honest, in my conception, I'm not sure if we can back to the life as it was before, because it seems like after the COVID-19, the real life, the regular life will be changed, and will be changed forever for any one of us that lives in this time. Going back to the professional, to the credit unions contacts with the members, we are talking about digitalization. We had started some projects of replacing the paper documents with electronic signed documents, and also archiving and integrating the member communication in electronic channel, to be able to thrive after this period, and also to attract the new generation, the millennials, let's say, which they are fan of technologies, and on our side, on the credit union side, we also need to be able to implement this. With regards to the credit unions composing the FedCar, we can say that after 1 year in pandemic, we managed to grow. Some of them with 2 or 3%, the others with 30%. Year of the year, we have managed to surpass the last year numbers. As I was saying before, there is a interesting move to technology. It is something that is no longer optional. it's something that it needs to be done in order to be able to thrive, to continue to offer financial services to the members, to the credit unions that are always in contact with the members. And of course, as I was mentioning before, we need to provide the help, to provide the support for local communities in order to help them, in order to prove the credit union's role in local communities, especially in the small ones, in the remote ones, where members sometimes members needs more our financial services. Although here in Romania, most of our members have also cash culture, they are used to perform financial transaction by using cash. During the pandemics, we have seen many of them moving to electronic system to use electronic banking as a means of payment, and also to get the help, to get the loan from a credit union. And this also help us to understand that the future goes toward these technologies, and the use of technology is something we need to do in the future. In the end, I hope all of you are safe. I thank you for listening to me. I wish all the best for you and your families. Please stay healthy, and for credit unions, please go ahead and help the communities like you are doing so far. Thank you all.
Cosmin, thank you so much. And boy, it looks like your organization has really done a lot for not only the credit unions, but the members of their credit unions. I'm sure that it's pretty in keeping with what a lot of credit union associations and our members around the world are doing. I do want to leave some time at the end for questions, so I'm going to move on to our last presenter of the day, who's joining us from Poland. Rafal Sokolowski is an advisor to the management board of Casa Centrum Credit Union, one of the largest credit unions in Poland, and a member of the National Association of Cooperative Savings and Credit Unions, World Council's direct member organization in Poland. Rafal, tell us about what's been going on in Poland.
Thank you for invitation. Thank you for the possibility of share our story. Centrum Credit Union is a fifth big credit union in Poland. We've got 35,000 members, and we are 25 years on the credit union on financial markets. Of course, in Poland, the pandemic influenced both economy and society. For our members, I think the worst was the job losses and the salary reductions. Also in Poland, even those who were still employed faced working time reductions. And these things had a negative impact on household budgets. We noticed this negative impact on our members and decided to instantly implement the support. We started without waiting for the state and regulators or other guidelines. And we acted inspired by solidarity with our members and with local communities. We directed our actions to three groups, to our members, to local communities, and to the institutions. And firstly, of course, we directed our help to our members. We implemented kind of financial shields for them, and they were given three possibilities to suspend the installment payments up to 6 months, to reduce the installment amount, or even to receive a free loan. These possibilities depended on the financial situation of every member, of his family. Of course, these actions help to keep household budgets in balance in this time when earnings were reduced. It was obviously the temporary help, but we are proud of it that it was instant and gave immediate financial effect for our members. We also gave our members the possibility of transferring loans from commercial banks to our credit union. And when this loan was transferred, we gave our member the lower interest rate. So the installments were lower, and it was also to have the positive impact on the household budget. We also supported our local communities. Our primary goal was not only to give an instant and visible help, but also to show integrity with local communities. We wanted to show solidarity and responsibility for others, the values that we share and that unite us with local communities. Our actions were aimed primarily at education and promotion of healthy lifestyle and at providing communities with personal protection products when they were mostly unavailable at the very beginning of the pandemic, and at support for families in very difficult situation. The participation of Centrum Credit Union employees in the Shopping for Senior campaign gave our employees an opportunity to show personal involvement and allowed to integrate the employees of branches and of headquarters. We gave this support the elderly people who at the very beginning of the pandemic were very scared and lost in this situation. We also took actions to support institutions. It was kind of an instant response for problems that arose during pandemic. Because the state support had often been insufficient, we supported delivery of respirators and provided the hospital in Bytom with protective equipment for medics. And due to the fact that our medics really risk a lot and do a fantastic job fighting the pandemic, we organized the action Thank You for Medics. Of course, during the pandemic, government introduced online lessons at school, but not every child, especially at the beginning, had access to the computer. Therefore, we decided to found some computer sets for our Bytom local orphanage. Our actions were, I think, quite visible on social media, and some example you can see on the next page. Of course, here in Poland, credit unions are very proud of its traditional values, but I think in pandemic, technology proved very helpful. We also moved to this technology, and we implemented the call center department, the new software, and the CRM applications to make our credit union better accessible for our members during lockdown and during these difficult times. Of course, via this call center department, our members can call us for help for this installment suspensions, and all the credit applications could be done online via internet and via this call center. Of course, we also implemented this CRM, which supported our employees, and also this CRM were searching in our database to pick the members in a difficult financial situations and to guide our employees to phone them and ask maybe they want the installment suspension or a free loan. It was a process supported by technology. I think that this was noticed by our members. We were always ready via this call center to provide them with every information they need about the financial information, but also the kind of a human support, because we've faced such telephones to only hear a good word from our members. To sum up, we think that our credit union proved quite successful during pandemic. We were quicker and I think more flexible in helping because we were closer to local communities and to our members. And I think our help was kind of solidarity based, not enforced by regulations. Thank you very much.
Rafal, thank you so much. And I would like to bring, if you could stay on camera, I'd like Anna and Cosmin to come on camera as well, since we have some time left. I think for a lot of people around the world, I don't think they realize that the pandemic has come back very strongly in your region, that it's not over by any means. You know, here in the United States, a lot of people are getting vaccines. And the numbers have stayed pretty low coming into March. But I know in Romania, in Poland, in Croatia, that the numbers are starting to go back up again. And what is it like to have, I mean, you've provided the support, but is it becoming somewhat daunting to know you're going to have to continue providing the support to your credit unions and their members going forward indefinitely, maybe for the next few months, for the rest of the year? And anyone who wants to start with that certainly can. Anna, if you want to.
Yes, well, I have to say that in Croatia, we pretty much got used to numbers going up and down, up and down. So our main concern is to have a good touristic season because we depend on tourism. So we are keeping our fingers crossed and hoping we get our vaccines that were promised and bought actually. So we can speed up and like fight with those numbers that are rising. I think that our government doesn't have any more funds to keep us in lockdown, as we were just one time for like a month in a lockdown. So I think that only responsible, only like being responsible individually will help us. But yes, a fear of tomorrow is present and this uncertainty. But I believe that as we fought before, we can fight it again.
Greg, you are muted.
Sorry about that. Even us pros get that mistake going once in a while. Rafal, are you also, do you find that that's the same situation in Poland, and that's kind of the attitude in Poland?
Yes, we still have big numbers of infected. And I think for us, we still continue to especially help the Bytom hospital. But I think for us, most important is to keep real contact with our members, because the knowledge of their situation, the knowledge of their financial situation makes us stronger as a credit union. We would like to be the first to act if anything goes wrong in our members' household budgets, or we would be the first to help.
And Cosmin, how are you approaching it in Romania?
Well, here in Romania, last week we just saw the numbers went up again. We are facing the third wave of lockdown, beginning this week for more and more cities in Romania, and with regards to helping credit unions members and from the Fed card to help the credit unions. I think we can build on the all the things that we have learned in the last year, so that we are much more prepared at this time to be able to help our members to, as Rafal was saying before, we are the first to know about them because they are coming to us to discuss about their difficulties, and we will be able to provide them with the list of a helping hand by the means of the volunteers. And on the other hand, because the credit unions have strengthened their financial situation during the last month, I mean we can allocate some more funds to help the members, even financially or by some donation, as we did before.
Thank you so much. And we do have a question. It's actually from someone many of you know, Lena Giacomopoulos. She is the head of our Global Women's Leadership Network, the program director. And she writes, great to see all the work that was done to support members in the respective regions. She wants to know, and this is open to any of you who want to answer, were specific actions taken to support staff during this difficult time as well?
I will go first. Yes, regarding the staffs, each credit unions would take some specific measures. In the beginning of the lockdown, we could move some of the activities online. It was technology course, so to speak, and we decided in the beginning to have part of the employees working from the branch, from the office, in order to have continuity and to serve the members. And another part of the employees, they were able to work from home using computers, laptops that connects to the credit union systems, and they were not able to have direct physical contacts with the members, but they were still able to do phone calls, instant messaging, and emails. And for this one, we could cover all of the members by at least one phone call to ask about their condition. And on top of that, of course, we needed to comply with the regulation and the medical measures, and we offer some UV filters to sanitize the offices, and of course facial masks, sanitizers, and all the stuff that we were required to have to limit the spread of this infection.
Anna, similar measures taken in Croatia?
Anna, you are muted.
Anna, you're muted. It happens to the best of us.
Sorry. Yes, similar like in Romania, our employees were working, some of them remotely. They were rotating, trying to keep them distance, not to have any physical contact. Also, we were regularly PCR tested because our workers are, well, in their 60s. So they had the opportunity to maybe work from home. They were left with a choice how they want to keep on going. So because it is the first time we were actually in this kind of situation, so in first few months, everything was like upon agreement. business upon agreement, yes.
Rafal, I know you went through some of this, but can you talk a little bit about how the support was given to staff as well?
Yes, we also offer the flexible working hours in headquarters, but also I think we took the full advantage of this call center software, because it's the web application, and our call center employees could phone and talk to our members from their houses without leaving houses, without the possibility of going to headquarters. They could log from desktop computers or even from their cell phone. It was easy for them. We didn't wanted them to come to the headquarters, to this department of call center, if they felt unsafe with it.
All right. Well, this has been, I think, enlightening, and also I think for a lot of people who joined the webinar today, they can relate to what everyone is going through, because most of our attendees are also in Central and Eastern European countries that are clearly dealing with the impacts of the pandemic. It's very much a real situation. So we appreciate that. And for any of you out there who have members in credit unions that weren't able to join us today and want to see this, we want to let you know that it will be available today. The webinar was recorded and it's going to be available. It'll be up later today at the World Council YouTube channel. You can find that by going to youtube.com/WOCU, that's /WOCCU. And again, the full recording will be there at the end of the day today. I want to thank so much Pavel Pelc and Rafal Matuziak from NACSQ in Poland for helping us put this together today for the RCUC, Regional Credit Union Center. And also want to thank Rafal and Anna and Cosmin for presenting today. Really valuable information. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you very much also.
Thank you, Pavel.
Thank you very much. Stay healthy.
Everyone have a great day.